The Future Ahead book. Written by Deng Lueth. A brief introduction to Chapter 6. I wish God could change the circumstances. When crises or any life situation occurs that overpowers your ability, you are forced to ask for help, and most often, we wish that God could change the circumstances. In most cases, we use power to prevent the event from happening and pray to God. But not knowing if God is listening to the prayer creates unpleasant feelings. Asking for help from God was the only option we had because the government that was supposed to protect us was the one doing the killing. God's silence sometimes makes you have a hard time believing in the existence of the powerful Creator. A Creator that is unresponsive to human suffering or unwilling to punish those who do wrong to other human beings. Life is not easy to ride, it is complex and challenging, and facts and truth are decentralized, meaning there is no source of truth where we retrieve the world's facts. For that reason, it is difficult for individuals or groups to claim knowledge of anything that is purely truthful, whether it is religious beliefs. Life is complicated, some get it, and some don't. Some work hard to figure out what makes sense and is meaningful. Others offer their reasoning and explanation. Have you ever asked questions about the purpose of life and what we gain from living on Earth? Really, what do we do again in life? If you ask people with different backgrounds, you will get different answers based on their beliefs, education level, and age. Let me give simple exercises. Ask a married couple why they got married. You might hear what you did not expect to hear, but it is true. Each one of us holds a different interest, and in return, we have a different need, and that dictates our decision-making, awareness, ignorance, and expectation. In the beginning is a phrase, which is found in the Bible Old Testament, that tells us that there was a beginning, and the question becomes, what was before the beginning? What was before the creation of the world we live in today? None for sure can give you pure/clear evidence without referencing the same book written by the first human writers, Why God Created the World. Is there a purpose for human existence? If so, to do what to who? Is backward thinking a necessity for human existence? Do not bother to search for truth, and the reason is that the life/death of humans traces back to the purpose of the first humans. Without death, all these seem like evidence. All were here in power until separation happened, making some more valuable than others. The idea of the beginning makes you ask yourself endless questions. For example, if there was a beginning, what was before the start? Do you realize that human beings do nothing for God in all time we spend on earth? Revisit religious prayers and see if you can come across the phrase, God help God, is all we do in life for human interest and welfare? We never understood why animals also die if human death is a result of the crime committed by the first parents. You never study when you are about to take an exam, and you are expecting to pass the exam? With God, how you would have suffered. From God's goodness, one thing for sure is that the Creator has the power to make. But in free fall, our fear projects and produces an imagined independent power. Life is a weak part of the energy with a timestamp. The living could be in an endless existence. The life of living things might not hold meaningful value. As we perceive the ideas of existing, forever may not originate from existing. Therefore, suffering and struggles may not be the center of the purposes and thoughtfulness of creation. We think we know much about life and its fulfillment, but living to live life fully, the person has to build confidence as a support energy. Move we advance in life living interference our reality thinking non-independent fear, the result other or. What are the 10 key messages of my book? Why do we fear death when none cares? Life is like a dead road, whether it is long or short, it leads nowhere, it is a zero result of self-unawareness. Soon, the soul and the physical body will be separated. Then you hit the end of no return. So why do we fear death, especially when no one cares about us and our existence as humans? Interestingly, when death occurs, we cannot describe our life experience after life separation. It is similar to the light switch, on-off, where you cannot tell if the light was on or off on moment action desire. If you enter a dark room, you will not know whether the light was on before joining the room. This is similar to our soul's departure. Others will have bad experiences with your departure, but you are gone forever, so why is death so scary? When the war broke out, humans and animals died, and another problem was that there was no running water in the houses. Water pump machines in Peryang town were being used by soldiers, so they were not accessible at that time. The villages surrounding the city depended on the rainy season. Because of war, people could not travel to water sources. It usually takes 3 to 4 months before we would get water. We couldn't defend or fight the enemy, their forces were more powerful than ours. The real question was, why were they killing us? We did not know who to ask for help. When you are helpless and powerless, you no longer fear death, because your life is in the hands of the enemy. It was hard to watch the animals dying from lack of water and food. It was a scary time, especially not knowing what the enemy was thinking, and we had nothing to defend ourselves. It was the darkest time. South Sudan had suffered enough, and we needed God to intervene immediately. When the willingness to live is more significant to a young person who wants to explore the world, threats and death are useless. The will to live created fears, especially when there wasn't any reason not to die and God was nowhere. Challenges were so crucial to be handled by humans, we didn't have the ability to protect our own lives from danger on all accounts. God was not responsive. Millions of people died in the Sudan Civil War, and both God and the rest of the world were in deep silence or turned away from us. The battle partly has religious aspects, which is exposing and forcing the people to accept the religion. The goal was to make South Sudan a spiritual gateway to Africa for the introduction to Arabicization. Responding to our necessity, it was a time I wanted to live with my lovely parents and brothers, but God was nowhere to be found. In early 1984, the Sudan Arabic government attacked the cities and villages in South Sudan. The book is now available online as ebook, paperback, and hardcover on Amazon, googlebooks.com, Barnes and Noble.com. Get your copy today. For more information, visit us at www.onutime.com. Also, on my YouTube channel, Making Learning Accessible. Thank you. We're Deng.